that that's not the case.
His attitude and his ability to get things done, his spirit, the way he fights the left, the way he fights for free speech and Western civilization, and the way he's open to coalition building and building non-traditional alliances is a key political talent.
I remember sitting at a meeting leading up to this election. I've got Bill Kristol sitting here. I've got, former friends, conservatives from across the aisle. We were all aligned in how do we defeat Trump. It was a meeting.
How'd it work out?
You know what, Scott?
Just asking.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
That's Scott Jennings calmly body slamming an entire panel of CNN liberals while they sit there blinking like deer in headlights. Looks like they learned firsthand what happens when you try to gang up on someone who actually remembers Trump's record and isn't afraid to say it out loud. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the CNN panel forgot what happens when you try to out-debate someone who actually remembers Trump's record. Because if this clip shows us anything, it's that the people still trying to bury the Republican Party are the same ones who helped destroy it in the first place. There's nothing more pathetic than a fake conservative blaming Trump for their own failures. Here's former Lieutenant Governor of Georgia Geoff Duncan and Abby Phillip pretending to mourn the GOP while Scott Jennings drags them back to reality.
It's really more that people like you have gone from being more aligned with a Mike Pence to being more aligned with Donald Trump. And explain that to us.
It's a good and valid question, but I don't see much disalignment. They have a personality conflict. Pence and Trump obviously had a falling out over a very serious issue, but on conservative orthodox policy stuff, the only real area where Trump has truly changed the party is on tariffs and trade. He believes in tariffs a lot more than any other president has since the early 1900s. And so that is a major difference in the platform. I acknowledge that. But on taxes, on the border, on pro-life, on having a strong military, and even now getting NATO strengthened with the 5%, helping Israel defeat Iran, he's not an isolationist. He is, on many ways, the same as every other Republican president of my lifetime and of your lifetime. There are some differences, but it's not as vast, I think, as you want it to be.
Donald Trump does not remind me of Ronald Reagan. And the Scott Jennings, who was a Republican growing up, working for Mitch McConnell, George Bush, and others, very respectable Republicans, would probably not even shake hands with the Scott Jennings that's sitting here today.
Well, I shook hands with Mitch McConnell this week, so A. B, Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump worked together to change the Supreme Court and give us a 6-3 majority, to pass the tax cuts in 2017. Again, personal differences are
Donald
different
Trump
than policy
showed
alignment.
respect to your former boss, Mitch McConnell?
Do you think he's shown respect to him?
Yeah.
Not always, no.
This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in. And I don't think it's ever coming back. I think it's gone. I think it's gone for good. They're in the ditch, and they just don't know it yet.
How are we in the
Hope
ditch?
springs
We won
eternal
the national popular vote last November. We won a crushing victory in the Electoral College. We won majorities in the House and the Senate. We just passed the big, beautiful bill. Peace is breaking out in the Middle East. Peace is breaking out on the African continent. Gas prices are lower than they've been in 4 years. Taxes are going to be low. Egg prices are down 69%. The southern border is secure. Jeff, these are things Republicans have believed in for a very long time.
Scott,
Geoff Duncan is the kind of uniparty hack who endorsed Joe Biden on the day of the 2024 debate, no less, and now he's pretending to care about what's good for Republicans. The guy built a career off losing with dignity, and Abby Phillip is just another smug CNN anchor pushing the same tired line that Trump somehow destroyed a party that was already on life support thanks to people like Duncan. The left's weirdest habit is pretending they know why people voted for Trump, then lecturing Trump voters on what they really wanted, as if they weren't mocking them the whole time. I mean, Jennings laid it out. Tax cuts, peace deals, deregulation, judicial appointments, every single thing these people said was impossible. Trump actually delivered. Here's what happens when they try to shift the topic from pretending to understand conservatives to pretending to understand the Bible.
You talk about following the law, but ICE is enforcing law enacted by Congress. Are you for illegal immigration?
Anyone standing on American soil is allowed to claim asylum. And we call these people illegals, but they're Christian refugees. I have this crazy thing I do with the Bible. I read it. And Jesus is emphatic about saying that we will be judged, nations and individuals, in Matthew 25, by how we... Well, no, but hang on.
We're a nation of laws.
You belong to a party that likes to wave Jesus around like a prop, my friend.
We are not in a theocracy.
Okay, if I may.
We are in a nation of
Are we talking about the Bible or the Constitution or laws enacted by Congress?
I'm talking about a political party that uses the pretense of Christianity to get
But
votes.
how did you just pick pivot all the way over to there?
Because the God of the Hebrew Scriptures commands us to welcome the stranger. Christ says we'll be judged by it. Why should I listen to Donald Trump instead of God and Jesus? As long as your party is using Christianity.
Enacted by Congress.
Yes, well, if you're standing on our soil, you're allowed to claim asylum. If you were born here, you are a citizen.
Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Scott, hold on.
Can I ask you a question? Is it the Democratic?
Scott, just a second, please.
Among many.
Yes. Did you have an
issue? How
about
we follow due process?
Did you have an issue with the millions of people that Obama deported, over 50% of which did not get due process? And
what do you mean?
Really? Expedited removal, voluntary return.
Expedited removal is in the law.
Millions of people
did not the law.
I believe people had the opportunity to go before a judge and make
That's
their case.
Absolutely
Actually,
many were turned away at the border.
That is absolutely untrue.
That's another way.
So that makes it okay now.
Operation That's not my point. It's the selective outrage
I'm
that I'm
highlighting.
highlighting.
Guys, hold on one second. Let me let Jill. Hold on.
Obama.
And
Hold
nobody
on,
knows
Aaron.
the Justice Department.
Aaron
elected
and
to
Congressman.
Please, Abby.
Guys, hang on one second.
Oh, they didn't? California is now a sanctuary city. It used to
It's
be
a state, not a
California's-
city.
That's a good point.
Los Angeles is now a sanctuary city. California didn't have sanctuary cities when Obama was in office, and they cooperated under a program.
How are they
called
making your life worse? How are they hurting you?
That's not my point.
But how are they
Illegal
hurting you?
immigration hurts everybody.
Illegal immigration pumps $5 billion a year into our economy.
Hang on a second, John.
Okay, let's do it.
Hold on.
Here we go. When CNN's political spin fails, they move on to pretending they're Bible scholars. John Fugelsang, a guy who's openly pro-abortion and uses Christianity like a bumper sticker, is suddenly very concerned about what Jesus would do at the border. You know, this isn't 2004. The modern conservative movement doesn't use the Bible as a political bludgeon, because the left already tried that, twisted it, and turned it into a joke. I mean, Fugelsang acts like Trump's some cartoonish church elder from a Hollywood movie, when in reality the only reason the right is even talking about God again is because we've seen where the left's nihilism leads. It's empty, it's broken, and the people who mock faith the loudest are usually the ones telling Americans to give up everything they believe in. Now watch as Fugelsang digs even deeper into that hole.
The only thing Donald Trump hates more than immigrants is the Constitution and the Bible that protects them. And it's worth pointing out he's our only president to have hired undocumented immigrants in 2 different centuries to avoid paying a living wage to an American worker. If they wanted the border crossings to stop, they would go after the employers. There's a gigantic help wanted sign at our border, and the Republican Party will never take that help wanted sign down.
They have stopped.
They will never
They're
take
literally
down,
almost zero.
But they're not going after the employers.
You
the
said,
white guy,
you said
hang on.
if they wanted them to stop, they would. They have stopped. Already have stopped. Have they not?
No, they have not, and they will continue to come. Donald Trump will. Okay, they come here because white people. Okay, may I? They come here because white folks like Donald Trump hire them to avoid paying a living wage to an American worker.
The border is effectively shut down.
And Donald Trump has already said he will not be going after the agricultural sector. The white folks who do the hiring and make the profits have a safe, exploited labor
The point he's making is about
force.
whether Trump. But look, right
right
now, okay.
Is the border effectively closed?
There are very few border crossings. It's not zero, but it's very few. So let's.
I can tell you
99%.
But let me
How
just.
many was it during the last?
Right now,
I think you're skirting around the issue. Vast majority of interactions here are occurring with people who are in the country illegally. But I do have a question. Your view, apparently, and I think it's a valid debating point. But if someone can get here illegally, as I understand it, you think they have an immediate right to claim a status and stay here.
No, my
is that the position of the Democratic Party?
Is if you're on our soil.
Ah, yes, Trump is bad because he wants to exploit brown labor. But also, illegal immigration is great because of the billions it brings into the economy. That's peak liberal logic. Attack Trump for pointing out the problem, then celebrate the problem as a feature. Fugelsang accidentally admits the entire scam here. The only reason there's any benefit to this is because these people are cheap exploited labor. And he conveniently leaves out the part where they cost way more than they contribute, over $100 billion a year in public services, education, housing, and healthcare. The math doesn't lie, and the cultural costs are even higher. But to a progressive, the suffering of Americans doesn't matter as long as it makes them feel morally superior. But let me know what you think. Should conservatives keep letting fake Christians and fake Republicans define what the movement stands for? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!